basically have been doing videos that are unrelated to, I guess, what the channel's name is, RC Guy Garage. But hey, it is what it is. I always said that not all my videos are going to be about RC stuff because, well, you know, sometimes content is content, and to be quite honest with you, don't watch it if you don't want to. If you just want to see updates of what's going on and maybe why I'm not, you know, doing RC stuff right now, it's because I'm getting ready for, you can see what I've got on right now. I've got my flannel like thing on. I'm still wearing shorts though. But anyway, so today on RC Guy Garage, all we're going to do is I'll give you a little bit of a backstory about this chainsaw. Now, I don't normally buy Poulan, Craftsman, Echo, you know, all those lesser, what I'll call lesser quality chainsaws. Now, I didn't buy this chainsaw, and that's the best part, was that there's a saying that I have that I'm sure that people are aware of and use this saying for themselves, and I can kind of understand why my wife doesn't necessarily like the the saying. But anyways, the saying is, if it's free, it's for me. Now, it doesn't always work out, and normally I would have had an issue with accepting a chainsaw like this, meaning the way I did. A lot of times a friend, a client, or a customer or whatever will, you know, basically just hand this off and just say, you know, get it out of my face, get it out of my life. There's a whole bunch of just phrases and terms that are used. And in that particular case, I'll say, hey, well, why don't you let me check it out? Well, the individual that owned this saw, they had it checked out by a shop. And the shop just said no. And I was just like, what do you mean the shop said no? And they just said, you know what, I got another one. I just want this out of my life. Either you take it or it's going in the trash as soon as you leave. So that made up my mind. So I'm not going to let, you know, a chainsaw go into the trash if I could potentially do something with it. So anyways, all I'm going to do today is literally just, guess maybe explain a little bit of what had happened here. So I got this chainsaw in non-running shape. First thing I did was the obviousness of popping this top cover right here, which is only 3 screws. 1, 2, 3. Pull off the top cover. It exposes the air filter, all the trigger mechanisms in the switch, and obviously this hump right here is where the spark plug is. So what was the first thing that I checked? Honestly, I checked the fuel because I wanted to see, did they put the right fuel in it? This right here does take a mixed fuel, like most chainsaws do. But what I wanted to do is I wanted to smell the condition of the fuel. If the fuel had what's called a lacquer smell to it, that just means the fuel went bad. If it didn't smell quite right like gas, that's just what happens. It's not going to fire on bad gas. But that wasn't the case. It actually did have good gas. So I did the typical thing. I checked the plug. I checked the air filter. The air filter was basically like brand new. I don't even think this saw really had that many miles on it. I checked the plug. The plug seemed like it was okay. And I just gave it a couple of cranks. I put it on the choke, gave it a couple primes. I actually did get it to fire up. Now, when I got it to fire up, it kind of was acting a little funny. It just kind of didn't want to run. Meaning if I was pulling the trigger, it seemed like it would stay running, but as soon as I would let it go, you know, obviously, you know, it would die. So what I thought was, okay, carb adjustment. So there is carb adjustments that you can do on here. There is a low side and a high side of that carburetor. So I started adjusting the carburetor, and actually, surprisingly, I got it able to run. And I used it. I used it for small limbs and, you know, just like touch-ups and stuff like that where I didn't really want to take out, you know, my saw of choice is a Husky. So I have several Husqvarnas. I got like 3 of them. 3 Husqvarnas, Rancher 55, which is an older one. I actually have a Husky 61, which is an anniversary edition. And then I've got a Husky $350, I think, or something like that. Yeah, I don't remember. But I just usually have Husky. But then that free for me came into play, so I'll just get back to the story. So over time, it started acting up again. And I'm thinking, okay, it can't be carb. There's got to be something else going on with it. So I did take off this cover right here, which consists of, I think, 4 screws. 1, 2, 3, and then 4 screws. Pop this cover off, which basically just houses the recoil start. And it's able to access the primer bulb. I checked the primer bulb's condition. I checked the hoses. Everything seemed fine. And then I started thinking to myself, okay, well, maybe somehow they had put, you know, maybe some contaminants got in and kind of messed up the fuel filter. So I had actually cracked open the fuel, dumped it out into a bucket, and that's when I discovered the problem. And it wasn't easy to find either. What I did is I took a flashlight. Well, actually, I didn't even take a flashlight. I used the flashlight that was part of this, not this phone, but my other phone, and I took a video. And I was able to zoom in, and I found out that the hose that was inside that's connected to the fuel filter actually had a crack. And the crack was right at where the tube is. So there's a tube that obviously comes from the primer bulb, and it goes down into... it goes into the fuel tank, which is basically like split right here. There's a section right here where it's a division. It's the fuel tank, and there's like a little nipple, and the little nipple, you know, is inside, you know, inside the fuel tank itself. That literally had a crack to it. So all I had to do was take out the old hose, and then the pain in the neck part was trying to figure out how to now get the hose reworked in there, and I probably should have videoed it, but I didn't. But anyways, the thing runs. I'll give you a little demonstration right now, just to show you that it runs. It starts up pretty quick. So let's just put this right here. It should start pretty quick. So obviously I'll put it to on. I'll give it a couple of squeezes, and I'll give it a pull. Choke. Like I said, it's free for me, and I'm surprised that the shop said no. So right now, you can see the condition of the blade. The blade has been chewed up and used basically to the point of no return, to where it's now way beyond its serviceable life, and that's usually how I run my chains. You do have to be careful when you're running chainsaw chain blades. If this thing breaks off and slaps you in the face, you're not going to be having a good day. So I did go ahead and did another Amazon purchase of an Oregon S56 16-inch blade. It's a 3/8 chain that's a low profile. And yeah, it just says that it's for Husqvarna, Homelight, Echo, Poulan, and Craftsman for a 16-inch. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to basically, you know, kind of like crack this open and clean it up. So all I'm going to do right now is switch over to the GoPro. If you want to hang around, hang around. If you don't, you already know what to do. So let's just get into it. So realistically, the first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to take my blowgun, and I am going to basically clean off all the garbage that's on the outside of this thing right now to get it ready, I guess, to change out the chain blade, get rid of all this sawdust and grease and oil and all this garbage in here. So that's like step number one. I'm using my compressor, which you would think that this is, you know, safety third. And yeah, you're right, but it works. So safety third. Got myself a hose. And for me, it's always safety third. Get my little blowgun. off here. Brake parts cleaner. Yeah, a lot of junk caked on there. A lot more caked than I expected. Holy smokes. This might have to be cleaned a different way. That's the most junk I've ever seen in a chainsaw. I'm gonna have to change my method. Now, the way I look at it, it's cleaned good enough. Might be able to get the idea of what's in there. I wasn't going to bore you with all that cleaning, but I did want to get some of the major just junk out of there. I probably should have done this in the first place. But what I do want to do right now is I do want to actually take off this chain and everything, get this out of here. I don't need that on here. And you can see this part got nice and clean with that solution that I used. Works, does its job. That's all that matters. Just remember, safety first. There is a little adjustment thing on there. Yeah, that is the adjustment for the stinking chain. That is pretty cool. That goes to show you like how much I know about this chainsaw. So I'm gonna pop this off. Go ahead and dip this in the solution. Get it all nice and clean. What I should do is I should run these guides, but I think the guides themselves are probably fine. So I'm just going to kind of, I guess, leave it as is. I did want to kind of just clean this area right here. Get this all nice and clean. Make sure you wear gloves when you're doing stuff like this. Make sure that little chain wheel is free, nice and free. Nice. Alright, get this chain out of here. Go ahead and basically I'm just going to scrape all the big junk out of here. And I'll probably take my mixture and clean out the rest after this little scraping here. Oh, look at that, huh? Boy, is that a lot of junk in there. Probably preventing some chain lube. Holy moly. Wow. Like I said, if it's free, it's for me. Holy smokes. There's a lot of junk on this thing. Guess I really can't call this a piece of junk, man. I mean, it looks like it does have some good parts on it. At least this is metal. But I'm definitely going to have to get in there with some of this cleaning solution. Get the rest of this garbage out of here. Holy moly. Look at that. Give it a little bit of a... Wow. I'm not going to bore you with all that. All right, we're back. I'm pretty happy with that. It's not perfect, but it's cleaned up. Things look like they're actually in pretty good shape. I will give it a once-over blow on the bottom. Probably should get a little bit in there, but I'm just going to leave it the way it is for now. This thing, the only thing that's obviously this saw doesn't have, this thing does not have dogs, which is fine. You know, whatever. It does have obviously some residual stuff in there, cleaning fluid solution, but that will get out with time or over time. Fuel I know is fine. Oil I actually don't remember, so let's just check the oil right now. If I clean that off real quick, if I open that up. Or maybe not. Holy crap. Wow. That is cranked. I'm gonna actually have to get a pair of vice grips on that or something. Boy. Alright. So we're all good here. Like I said, I'm pretty confident with this guide that there's no issues. It's definitely a lot cleaner now than it was. We got all the junk that was off of the tip gear, or whatever you want to call that. The little, what is it, idler? We're going to install the chain blade this way. So, go ahead, just going to throw that in there. Go ahead and open this up. Now, there is a right and a wrong way to install a chain. So let's do it the right way. So obviously you want to make sure that there's actually a picture on here, I thought. Or maybe there was a picture. Somewhere on here it showed how you're actually supposed to install this. And obviously what you want to make sure of is you want to make sure that that little leading edge right there is facing forward. Ding. Make sure I'm actually on the gear sprocket here. Normally what I do is I make sure I'm on here first. Of course, I got the chain jammed in there. Awesome. Right in its track. Right leg. Come on, guy. Get it together. Run it forward. That looks good. The little case brake thing back on. Get out the two fasteners. Soaking in the juice. All nice and clean now. Just kind of going to get those on there. Just finger tight. Use the little adjustment thingamajigger here. I say right about there. Seems good. Now sometimes as you tighten it, it'll either get tighter or looser, so we'll see what it looks like. And that seems okay. Seems like it's fine. Give it a crank. Give it a crank. Yeah. Mint. Actually loosened up. Dang it. So let's just loosen this. Give it a loosen. Give it a little bit more of a crank. See what that looks like. That seems better. That seems like that's there. So the first thing I want to do right away, I actually do want to do a little bit of a pre-oil to that right there. I'll be right back. And I'm back. So I'm just going to do a pre-oil right here, right there, and then right inside this hole. Just like that. Careful when you're grabbing hold of this chain. Not that going this way is going to cut you, but you still want to be careful. Seems good. Might be a little loose. There is going to be a little bit of a break-in. Yeah, it's actually a little bit more loose than I think I want it to be, so. Little bit right inside the track. Good enough. I think I'm happy with that. There goes that. I think I'm happy with that. Good enough. Alright, so now what I want to do is I want to go ahead and I want to just make sure that my oil is topped off, and we're going to do a couple of test cuts. So we'll be right back. And I'm back. So I'm just going to give this, hopefully, yeah, look at that. That was easy. Just needed the right tool. And definitely could use some bar oil, which is what's right in here. And yes, this is Poulan. But bar oil is bar oil. Now this is an important step, to always make sure that this is full. This is what lubricates the chain, keeps the friction down. So I'll just put just a little bit more. Looks like I'm running out. Good enough. Careful, that chain's nice and sharp now. Alright, so what I'm going to do right now, obviously we know the thing runs. I'm actually literally just going to walk right out to the woods, and we're going to do a couple of test cuts and see how it works. So obviously you can see we're out in the backyard track. And I'm just going to do a couple of test cuts. We got a down tree right here. I'm going to do a couple of cuts in it, and then we've got it leaning up against a tree right there, so I'll do a couple of cuts on this just to see how it works, and then we'll see like if I attack that or not, which I think it's funny how that's holding on. They're like literally interlocked. I don't really think it's actually, I mean, it is kind of supporting a little bit, but I don't think it's supporting a huge amount, but we'll check it out. choke on, prime it. Holding on more than I thought it was. Look at that. Check that out. It's an interesting way. Look at this. Look how this is in here. Pretty good. Cut's nice. Get rid of this thing. Cool. That was awesome. A couple more trees that we can take down in here. It's all dead wood. Dead one right there. A couple dead ones there. That's it. I want that one out of here. This is also what I meant about chain breaking in. You can see right now, a little loose. So I'm going to take some of that looseness out right now, so I'm ready for another day. which is literally like tomorrow. There we go. Good enough. Now, just to be proactive, why not? Maybe if I did that every single time, maintenance, you know, probably a good idea. What I was saying is maybe if I do that after each usage, maybe like things would be better. But I think we're good. Like I said, I am happy with that. It's a little tight, but be fine. Get the job done. That's it. So that is literally it from RC Guy Garage. Like I always say, just get out there and rip it. Yeah, get out there and rip it with a chainsaw. Making sure that you wear the appropriate protection when using a chainsaw. It's just good PPE practice. So like I always say, just get out there and rip it. See you guys later. What should I say? See you on the next one, because I'm happy with that.